Howdy there, YouTube. This is T Walker, aka Tanner. Now, as you're guessing from the title, this is going to be my first ever review video, and I'm going to review 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of intro about how I'm going to run this review. Although I probably will, my goal is to say nothing nice about this system. My goal is to place not anything that is hopefully, well, it's all going to be opinionated, of course, but I'm hopefully going to give you some level-headed opinions on what I don't like about this system and why I don't like it, and maybe just to get you guys understanding what I do and do not like about this game. Now, what I don't want to see is, I've ran this system for years and it works perfectly and blah blah blah. I don't care. I really don't. If you run this system and it works great, that's wonderful. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is not saying the system can't run games. The point of this video is to point out what I view are flaws with the system, or what I personally do not like. Also, I don't want to hear, I've had the best game of my life with this system. Oh, again, I don't care. That's not the point of this video. Like I said, the point of this video is not to say that this system is bad, although it does have some bad aspects to it. Just to maybe point out some things that maybe you haven't noticed, or maybe you don't care about, that I view as problems with the system. So, let's get into it. I'm going to start at Chapter 1, and I'm going to move through the chapters, and that's pretty much going to be it, and I'm going to explain what about each things I do not like. So, Chapter 1 is titled Abilities, and abilities are these 6 core stats that modify everything you do in the game. They are strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. We all know them. We all love them. I hate them. I think the way abilities are put in this game is kind of crappy. And you know, I really do not think that it is a good way to run them. Now, why is that, you ask? Because in 3.5 Dungeons & Dragons, abilities mod class features. What do I mean by that? Strength gives you bonus damage. Intelligence gives you bonus spells. You know, charisma gives you bonus damage on spells and bonus spells. Wisdom gives you a few different things. Now, why don't I like that, you ask? Okay, let me explain. Because it is limiting. If you want to play a, fighter that is good mechanically, he's going to need strength and dexterity and constitution. There are stats that he has to have. Now, a fighter is actually not as good as example as a wizard. If you want to be a wizard, you need to have intelligence. Now, really, what this is, I mean, in essence, is restricting. Because unless you want your character to be crappy, or, not as good, you have to stat your character in a certain way. Now, statistics are flavor, however. Or at least they should be. In this game, you cannot play a weak fighter who is good. Or as good as a strong fighter, and maybe that's what you want to play. Now, I know what someone's going to comment. They're going to be like, well, you don't have to put points in strength. Well, no, you don't. But they do mod your core class abilities. They do mod your attack. They give you accuracy. So if you want to be as good as another fighter, you do have to put points in strength. It's like, well, you can put points somewhere else and it will balance out. Not really, not for your class abilities. A fighter who has just a bunch in charisma is not going to be as good as a fighter as one who has a bunch in strength. And you say, oh, he makes up for it in other ways. But his class, he's not as good at what his class is, and I view this as a problem. Now, with the whole, oh, it just balances out anyway with the stats argument. Okay, but instead of saying, oh, it all balances out, which it doesn't, some of these stats are not equal to one another, some of them are better than one another, we could eliminate these bonuses to the classes and have our cake and eat it too. Alright? If we just took these stats and said, okay, we're going to take away all these bonuses from, you know, I would even say skills, from skills and class features. Now stats are flavor. Now you can have whatever stats you want without it affecting your ability to do stuff in the game, which is something I fully endorse. Alright, I'm going to move on from there. I think you guys get what I'm saying with that. Races is the next chapter. What do I not like about way races are presented in this? Races are a way, or an attempt, to give the player an option that will give him a tactical advantage in combat. And you're saying, wait, what? No, races, you know, they got these cool races, and, you know, they're a little bit different, and you can pick which one, depending on your playstyle. Wrong. That may be how you play races. That is not how this presents races. Races are a chance to get bonus statistics. In this system, that is what they are. They are a chance to get bonus statistics. An elf is +2 to dexterity, and you make up for it with a -2 to constitution. And you need that +2 dexterity for whatever. That's why you play an elf in here. Now, like I said, I'm going to try to curb some of the arguments he'll throw up. He's like, oh, you know, you should always play an elf for, you know, just because you want to play an elf, you want to be part of that culture. Okay, and, you know, I agree with that, but when you give mechanical bonus to certain stats, and those certain stats are for certain class features and certain mechanical things, you change it a little bit. Alright? Now, I think, let's go an orc. You know, +2 to strength. An orc is not going to be as good a wizard as, you know, something else. He's not. He's that -2, was it intelligence and charisma? He's not going to be as good as sorcerer either. It's going to be limited. Part of it's because of the stats. And, you know, oh, but he gets that +2 strength, so you're going to be a stronger wizard. Yeah, but like I said, why can't we have our cake and eat it too? Why can't we have both? Why can't we have options that allow us to play races without those races dictating what kind of abilities we get or how we want to stat our characters? Now, I've talked about races before and how I like to see them, and I like to see them either as polar extremes, where, you know, if you're playing an elf, it is mechanically, just wholly mechanically different than playing something else. This is part of the reason why I like the idea of races as classes, because that really does make the races different. However, if you're not going to be that extreme, I feel personally that races should be as stats, and that is flavor, and nothing more. As soon as they start giving mechanical bonuses, that becomes the reason why people pick them. Now, I know you're saying, oh, I don't pick them for that way, I would never pick them that way. I don't care. Most players who play races do not play the races for their culture. They play them for the statistics, to stat their character. Now, we can curb that. Why not be able to have the culture, which is our goal, you know, with the races instead of statistics? And now the option to that is making the races so wholly different yet equal that when people are playing them, they're playing them because, you know, they want to play the feel for that. Or we make them all the same, so we know someone who's playing an orc just actually wants to be an orc and really doesn't care about that +2 to strength. Right? Races. Alright. Chapter 3 is about classes. Now, I like a couple of the classes in here, and I know I wouldn't say I like anything, but that is also a dislike. I dislike how many classes there are. Let's read out the classes for you guys. We've got Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Wizard. Was that 11 classes? Ugh. There, in my opinion, should be 4 classes. 4. You got your Fighter, you got your Cleric, you got your Wizard, and you got your Rogue. All classes are variations of these 4. I'll explain. Now, the Barbarian. I believe that if this game would have been done correctly, a Barbarian is a piece of flavor for a warrior. I believe that the Barbarian's abilities should have been converted into feats and abilities that the fighter could choose, should they so choose. Because a Barbarian is a fighter with more health who can go into rage. I mean, you got 2 classes that are doing, because look at this, the designers, when designing this game, they went for niche protection. That is how they attempted to balance their game. I'll get to that in a second, but that is what they wanted. They wanted niche protection. However, in each of the different niches, and those niches are combat, fighting, healing, abilities, thief, and weird random stuff, which is the wizard. In each of those 4 categories, which you need to have for niche protection, they have multiple classes. Now, by putting multiple classes in, they have not, done what they wanted to do, which is have niche protection, because these multiple classes are not balanced. They're not. More than that, their niche isn't even protected against another niche. The superior fighter at level 20 is the wizard. Wait, but no, the fighter's supposed to fight. The superior fighter is the wizard. He deals out more damage, he can protect himself better than a fighter. His spells can do a lot for him. Do a ridiculous a lot for him. Alright? But, so anyway, there are too many classes. In my opinion, what they should have done is they should have reduced these into 4, but given more options for the 4 than they do. You can take these 11 classes and you can put them into these 4 and get the same effects through multi-classing. And I'm going to show you. What is a barbarian but a fighter with more health that can rage? So we take this more health option, which the fighter can achieve through feats, toughness, and we take this rage option and we shift them over to the fighter. Personally, that's what I would have done. The Bard. Don't get me started on the Bard. The Bard is a mixture of everything. He's a multi-class that has everything in it. Why not just do that? Why not take a level of everything if you want to be the Bard, the jack of all trades? You know? I mean, you're the Bard. What is it special that you do? Oh, right. Nothing. You just get a bit of everybody else's abilities. Useless. Stupid. Sorry. The Cleric. Cleric should be good. It should have been kept as it is. Alright? Druid. Now, Druid is an interesting one, because what a Druid is a cleric. A little bit of fighting ability, but the Druid does have one cool thing, and it's not spells. Its spells are pretty much just a grab from the clerics and a grab from the wizards. Its shape change ability, its change form, that is actually pretty unique and pretty good. The fact that it can change form, that is a unique ability of the Druids. Now, what that should have been done, if, you know, I'm done, that should have been grabbed, pulled, and put into an option for the wizard. Because, besides that, what a Druid is a kind of woodland cleric. And that's exactly what it is. It's a cleric with a kind of woodland theme. Well, why not just fix your, you know, deity system and have that be what a Druid is? A Druid is a cleric who worships Obad High. Of course, they didn't do that. They made it a whole other class. Which brings me to my next point. The deities in 3.5 D&D are the most useless crap I have ever seen. Sweet Lord. I mean, they give you a bonus spell, okay, but, let's look at that. These are your deities. You worship these gods. You worship them. You exist for them. You exist for these gods. And what is that existence represented in? A bonus spell you get every day. Really? Really? No, that's trash. What they should have done is they should have made a custom spell list for each, you know, deity. This deity says you can cast these spells, not any other ones. You have to cast these ones because that's what your god demands. That would separate them up a bit. That would change the flavor. Of course, they would still have the main abilities, but I feel it would have changed the system up for the better. And remember, this would all be under the cleric class. Alright, let me move on. Druid, like I said, has that shape change ability. I would have taken that from taking the Druid class away and put it into my Wizard class, because remember, I would like to see 4 classes instead of these useless 11. Fighter. The fighter is supposed to be good in combat. He is supposed to be tough. He's supposed to be sturdy, dependable, able to deal out damage at a consistent rate, and be able to, you know, take damage, take hits. The fighter is supposed to be the epitome of combat. His niche is the tank, but also the kind of sturdy, dependable damage guy. Can the fighter do that? Yeah. In this? At later levels? Not compared to the wizard. When you're giving yourself bonus everything through spells, and you have a lot of them. You got, what is that, like last level, like if you're a wizard, 4 times 9, maybe 5 times 9, if you specialized. Wow, that's it's interesting. So what should they have done? They should have taken away the attack bonus from every other class, given it to the fighter. Secondly, they should have taken away a wizard's damaging spells. They should have left that damage to be dealt by the fighter. The fighter should be the one, sword in hand, ripping through enemies, because that is his niche. His niche is to fight things. His niche is to tear through enemies like they're tissue paper. Can he do that in this system? No, he cannot. Problem for me. Alright. The monk. The monk should be moved into the fighter class. A monk should be a fighter who specializes in hand-to-hand combat. Enough said. The paladin. The paladin is a multi-class feature between the fighter and the cleric. That's what it is in here. That's what it should be. They should fix their multi-classing system and take the paladin out. The ranger. is a fighter who can specialize in fighting a certain type of enemy. It should be a branch option for the fighter. And he gets a couple of druid spells. Take that crap away. He doesn't need spells. Sorcerer and Wizard. Now, what would I do for them? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Huh. Let me just go to this magic section real quick. Just give me a moment here, guys. Detect. Oh goodness. Oh goody. Chapter 10 magic. Alright, cleric domains, ranger spells. Just getting there. Alright. Level 9 sorcerer spells. Oh, that's just power word kill. Ooh. Kills one creature with 100 hit points or less. That's 99 straight damage. If you know, if they have less. What else do we got? Big Beast Crushing Hand. Large Hand provides cover. Pushes, crushes your foe. Meteor Swarm. 4 exploding fears, each dealing 66 fire damage. Ooh. Shades. Ooh, weird. Oh. Huh. Energy Drain. Subject gains 2d4 negative levels. My point is that they are very powerful. They are very powerful. They are very strong. In fact, they are too strong. I would have taken away their damaging spells. I would have kept them with their weird abilities. Also, I would have taken away their abilities that give bonuses to skills. For example, invisibility gives bonus to hide, making them a better hider than the rogue. Oh, I skipped the rogue. I'll get that to him in a second. Making him better hider than the rogue? Oh, well, thanks. When you're going for niche protection, which this was, going for niche protection, protect these different niches, why would you let the wizard and sorcerer just smack around the other niches? Just, ooh, yeah, look at me, bam, 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 backhand you into oblivion. Guess what, rogue? I can hide better than you. What? Bring it. Guess what, fighter? I can deal more damage than you. What? What? Come on. It's silly. And they needed to fix it. Which brings me to the rogue. The rogue gets backstab and 8 skills. And, you know, a few other abilities at later levels. Backstab is fine, I guess. But when you're going for niche protection, why would you give backstab to a class that, you know, to a class that's supposed to be non-fighting, a skills-based class? Because it wasn't very good. That's the reason. Because we needed to make the class better. Now the problem with that is that this is a system whose goal is open combat. D&D is a system that wants to make you look good while performing in open combat. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you get a class like the rogue, when he's trying to stand up against, you know, the wizard who can cast a spell and get a lot of bonuses that that kind of makes the rogue's abilities look to shame, you know, it's kind of sad. And, you know, you don't feel good when you're playing the rogue, because at those later levels, you know, Sean Connors, Outsiders 68, did a video on this scene, talked about the rogue. What does the rogue get at later levels? He gets hide, because that can stack with invisibility, oh goody, and use magic device. Is that niche protection? Is that doing what a rogue should be able to do, all these cool skills and stuff? No, it's not. It's trash. The rogue is not protected in its niche. It needs to be. So they need to rewrite the skills, but I'll get to the skills in a second, and hopefully I'll remember to talk about them when I get to the skills portion, or talk about the rogue, I mean. So, those are the classes and my problems with them.